First off, a box is just a generic term for a container, an object that holds other objects in its contents. I'll show you how you can make a box, for example. If you just right click, click create, click the ground to res a generic plywood cube, you have the content tab. Now anything you put in those contents could be unpacked as a box. So if I click on my inventory, go to my textures, for example, I've got some textures here, I can just drag a few in. You see they'll show up here. And then when I close this, let's close that out of the way, and I right click this and I click open, it shows me the object contents. Remember, that's just what I did. Right click open, just like opening a box, which is functionally how it works. Here's how to deal with boxes you might find in the wild. I'm right here at Skybeam Sandbox. Now you notice what it says here, this free textures. When I move my cursor over it, sure enough, it has a Linden dollar symbol, indicating I can just left click it and it'll say buy me a copy. Now keep in mind this is free, it says $0 Linden. Let me cancel that. I'll show you if I right click edit it, I can't actually change the properties, but under the content tab you'll notice of course it has these contents. It is a container, a box. If I click back on general, you'll notice it says when left clicked by object. That means that it's a click action. For example, if I were to create res something, my own cube again, and then I go to here, when left clicked I got to set a price, so I can set for sale 0 if it's a freebie. Now keep your eye on these original copy contents. I'm going to explain this a little more, but first I set it to buy object. Now you notice when I close it, and then it has the same cursor, and then I can click on it, and it doesn't have anything in it, but it will let me buy a copy. So then, what's the difference between setting something for sale as a copy or contents? Usually if you're going to give out a box, it's actually easier to sell it as contents. The reason why is because it makes a folder in your inventory. I'll show you the difference here and what happens. Now, you notice this one's copy. So again, I can close this because it has a click action. I'll just click on it. It tells me what's in it, okay, the contents, and then I'm going to buy it. Now, I'm going to check my inventory. It appears here. It appears as free textures collection of collection. But what do I do to make this useful? Well, if it's a box in your inventory, don't wear it. You need to unpack it. Now, wearing it will result in embarrassment. It may be the first instinctive thing you do, especially if that box looks like it's got clothes inside, right? So that's only natural that you'd, for example, try to right click and wear it. But then as you see, it just ends up in my arm, which is the default attachment point for something that's never been attached before. It used to be the head, now it's better. But anyway, I'm going to detach this and show you, I'm going to wander out to the field here, and show you how to unpack this box. It's pretty straightforward once you get a hang of it. Watch carefully. Alright, so I have this in my inventory. I click, hold the mouse button down, I drag, and you see the cursor has the plus symbol. I can add it to the world, res it, resolve it, and create it. So let go, shake, 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 and you see it's just like that other box. Now all I can do with this, I can right click it, choose open, and then it's going to load all these. Now it shows the contents, object contents. Now I can click copy to inventory. Watch what that does. It pops open this. It opens any textures, I think note cards and landmarks by default. Sometimes you have to push a key to hide them, but here we go. It shows it as a folder in my inventory. That's how to unpack a box. To save you a step so you don't have to unpack, remember what I said about contents earlier? Here's how we can do it. So I have a copy of this original box, and then I can right click, edit it. If I were to sell it to someone else, for example as a freebie to continue the goodwill spirit, for sale, 0, and I could set for contents instead of copy, so I click contents. Now what happens when this happens? Well, when left click, I have to set this back to buy object. Alright, now you see when I hover over it, okay, this time now, when I click it, it says buy contents instead of buy copy, and it shows me what I'm going to get as a folder. When I buy it, there will be another folder. I'll delete this first one so you can very clearly see. Let me put that in the trash. Now, buy. See, it appears as a folder all unto its own, and I didn't have to unpack it. Voila! Whether you're shopping or selling, you want to keep those two principles in mind when unpacking boxes. The first one being, let me right click and edit this. Copy versus contents when setting something for sale, you usually want the latter. There's only a few good reasons in which you want copy. For example, you want them to redistribute the whole thing if it's a freebie, or if you have especially fancy packaging. But remember, the ease of use comes with contents. And the second thing, of course, being the click action when left-clicked of buy object, which means that if you just hover over something, it shows the green $1 symbol and you can just simply click it. Otherwise, what you would have to do is often right-click and buy it. Alright?